Hi everyone, my team is formed by Jimena Ravelo Vega, Estrella Lopez Monroy, and Arturo Yael Avila Priego. We are presenting the model learning outcome tree for the subject human body care. Without further ado, let's start. This is an image of the male reproductive system. First of all, the organs corresponding to the male reproductive tract are the testes, the epididymis, the urethra, the vas deferens, the prostate gland, the seminal vesicle, and the penis. Let's take a look into their structure and function. The testes, they are oval-shaped organs that are located in the scrotum. The structures that are within the testes are vital for the production and storage of sperm. Moreover, they produce testosterone, hormone responsible for fertility, sex drive, and development of muscle and bone mass. Testes are ovular because of tissues known as lobules, which are principally made up of coiled tubes surrounded by connective tissue. Seminiferous tubules are the ones that make up most of the testes. The cells and tissues that form them are responsible for spermatogenesis, which is the name of the process of the fabrication of sperm. They also contain in their structure the rete testis, the path through which the sperms travel towards the epididymis after being fabricated. The efferent ducts, the tubes that join the rete testis with the epididymis, and the tunica vacuosa, albuginea, or vaginalis. Then, epididymis. It is a coiled, long tube that stores and transports sperms located in the testes, and it's composed of three sections: the head, storage of sperms; the body, maturation of sperms; and the tail, transportation of the sperms into the ejaculatory duct. The urethra. Apart from being part of the urinary system, it also serves as a conduit for semen during coitus. The one muscle to which we have to pay attention is the bulbospongius muscle of the penis, which plays a vital role on ejaculation. Its main components are the preprostatic urethra, the prostatic urethra, the membranous urethra, and the spongy urethra. Then we have the vas deferens, which is a long muscular tube that goes from the epididymis into the pelvic cavity, just behind the bladder. It transports the already mature sperms into the urethra so that they can be prepared for ejaculation. It is surrounded by a smooth muscle and are part of the spermatic cords. Then we have the prostate gland, and its main function is to secrete prostate fluid, which is one of the components of semen. Moreover, the muscles of the prostate gland are involved in the expulsion of semen during ejaculation. And then finally we have seminal vesicle, and they are glands that are found beneath and behind the bladder of the male. They are roughly 2 or 3 inches in length on a sexually mature male, and their size depends on the production of androgens or sex hormones. These glands are surrounded by blood vessels, nerve tissue, and connective tissue for protection. Muscle tissue of the vesicles provide the pressure needed to release the fluid from the glands. Now that we know the structure and function of these organs, we can take a look at the pathway that the sperms follow. At first, the sperm is produced on the seminiferous tubules, which are located in the testes. The structure on top of the seminiferous tubules is the epididymis, to which the sperms migrate. Within the epididymis, the sperms maturate and are stored. In the ejaculation process, the mature sperms travel from the epididymis through the vas deferens, which propels sperm forward through smooth muscle contractions. At first, the sperm arrives to the ampulla. There, secretions from the seminal vesicle are added. From there, it is propelled forward through ejaculatory ducts towards the urethra, passing by the prostate gland, where a milky fluid is added to form semen as we know it. At last, the semen is ejaculated through the far end of the urethra. Now, regarding the external genitalia of the male reproductive system, their structure and function, we can find the following organs. At first, we have the penis. It's the male sex organ, and it consists on the glands, head of the penis, the corpus cavernosum, 2 columns of tissue running along the sides, and this tissue is filled by blood, causing an erection, the corpus spongiosum, a column of spongy tissue that runs along the front of the penis and ends at the glans penis. During an erection, it fills with blood, thus keeping the urethra open, and the urethra which runs through the corpus spongiosum. Then we have the scrotum. And it's a sac of skin that hangs behind the penis. It contains the testicles as well as many nerves and blood vessels. The scrotum has a protective function and acts as a climate control system for the testes. Special muscles in the scrotum's wall allow it to contract and relax. And finally we have the testicles. Their structure and function was mentioned earlier on the video. Moreover, and as we reviewed earlier, the prostate gland, the seminal vesicles, and the bulborectal glands are in charge of producing seminal fluid, which carries and protects sperm. Just to make a quick review, the prostate gland secretes prostate fluid, which is vital for the structure of semen. The seminal vesicles release up to 60% of the fluid found in semen, which is formed by alkaline fluid, fructose, prostaglandins, and clotting factors, and the bulborectal glands, which excrete droplets of mucus, a thick protein compound. This fluid makes semen less watery, thus providing a suitable living environment for the sperm. Regarding hormone regulation on the male reproductive system, let's start by stating that its entirety is dependent on hormones. The primary hormones involved in the functioning of this system are follicle stimulating hormone, FSH, luteinizing hormone, LH, and testosterone. The first two are produced by the pituitary gland, which is located by the brain. FHS is necessary for the spermatogenesis or sperm production, and LH stimulates the production of testosterone, which is necessary to continue the process of spermatogenesis. Moreover, the hypothalamus regulates the secretory activities of the pituitary gland. According to stimuli received from the internal and external environments, it produces several peptide neurohormones that regulate anterior pituitary functions.
Now we're going to talk about the female reproductive system. First of all, we're going to talk about the organs that make it up. These organs, you can recognize it on the diagram because they are the ones highlighted with purple. First, the gonads in the female consist of the ovaries, located one on each side of the upper pelvis, whose functions are to produce oocytes or eggs in a process called oogenesis. Then we have the female genital tract, which consists of the oviducts, the uterus, and the vagina. The oviducts or fallopian tubes extend from the uterus to the ovaries, but they are not attached to the ovaries. Rather, they end finger-like projections called fimbriae, that together with the ciliating lining of the oviducts guides the eggs into the oviduct and sweeps toward the uterus. The uterus is a hollow muscular organ about the size and shape of an inverted pear. It is lined with a vascular tissue called endometrium, and this is where the embryo is embedded when it reaches the uterus, in a process called implantation. The vagina is a long muscular tube that lies at 45 degrees angle in the lower back. It receives the penis during sexual intercourse and serves as both the birth canal and the exit for the monthly menstrual flow. Written in green, there is the process of how and where the oocyte is produced and how it is transported to the uterus. The female reproductive system provides several functions. The ovaries produce the female egg cells, called ova or oocytes. The oocytes are then transported to the fallopian tubes, where fertilization by sperm may occur. The fertilized egg then moves to the uterus, where the uterine lining has thickened in response to the normal hormones of the reproductive cycle. Once in the uterus, the fertilized egg can implant into thickened uterine lining and continue to develop. The steps of fertilization in humans always involve the joining of an egg and a sperm. In natural conception, the male sperm fertilizes the female egg inside the woman's body. While many think fertilization occurs in the ovary, it actually takes place in the fallopian tubes, just outside the ovary. From there, the fertilized egg travels down the fallopian tube. If it successfully implants in the uterus, an embryo can begin to grow. That is called implantation. Now we're going to mention the major components of the female external genitalia. The external female genitals are collectively known as vulva, and it includes the labia majora, labia minora, the glans clitoris, and a cleft with the openings of the urethra and vagina. The labia majora are two large hair-covered skin folds that extend from the mons pubis, which is a fatty prominence over the pubic bones covered with pubic hair. The labia minora are two small folds lying just inside the labia majora, and they extend from the opening of the vagina to circle the glans clitoris, forming the foreskin. The glans clitoris contains erectile tissue that becomes filled with blood during sexual stimulation. The cleft between the labia minora contains the opening of the urethra and vagina. The vagina might be partially closed by a tissue called hymen, which is ruptured by sexual intercourse or some other physical means. Non-pregnant females normally exhibit cycle changes in the ovaries and uterus during their reproductive years. Each cycle takes about a month and consists of both oogenesis and preparation of the uterus to receive a fertilized egg. Hormones secreted from the hypothalamus, the anterior pituitary gland, and the ovaries control the main events of the cycles. GnRH secreted from the hypothalamus stimulates FSH and LH production in the pituitary. FSH and LH stimulates follicle growth in the ovaries. A surge of LH triggers ovulation. Estradiol, progesterone, and inhibin are secreted from the ovaries. Estradiol and progesterone regulate female sex characteristics and the female cycle. Inhibin inhibits FSH production by the pituitary.
The ovarian cycle includes a series of events that occur during and after the maturation of an oocyte. The uterine cycle involves a series of changes in the endometrium of the uterus to prepare it for the arrival of a fertilized egg that will develop there until birth. How the ovarian cycle influences uterine cycle? The hormone secreted from the ovaries during the ovarian cycle controls the events of the uterine cycle. Birth control methods. There are several methods available to block or enhance reproductive potential in human beings. Birth control methods are used to regulate the number of children a couple will have. No single ideal method or of birth control exists. Abstinence is the most reliable birth control method we have, and it means not engaging in any sexual contact. This form of birth control also has the advantage of preventing sexually transmitted diseases. Many other methods are available, each with advantages and disadvantages. They include surgical sterilization, hormonal methods, intrauterine devices, spermicides, barrier methods, periodic abstinence, and coitus interruptus. The more effective are implants, IUD, female sterilization, vasectomy, injectables, LAM, pills, patch, and vaginal ring.